Hey guys, so today it's a fun, different, new fluid art. I'm using alcohol inks. The alcohol inks used are Snowcap, Pitch Black, Pearl, Butterscotch, and Plum, and they're by Ranger and Pinata inks. There's a few other products used in this video as well, and that's the Paycon plastic art sheets, Yupo paper, 99% alcohol, the airbrush and condenser, and the duster spray that you see I'm using right here. And look how much trouble, like immediately it starts giving me trouble, this spray. First of all, don't shake the can. That was my first mistake. But see how it's blowing basically the fuel onto my paper? That's not supposed to happen. So don't shake the can. The other thing is you have to keep the can upright, which is kind of a challenge because you need to get down on the paper to make the effect. So right away I know that I have to start over. So that was, my first little failed attempt here. I started doing alcohol inks because I took a class by Kimberly Dean Designs. You need to go follow her on Instagram. She is so talented and I'm loving her. Look at this fish. I'm loving her work. She gave me the confidence with her online class to try a few different techniques. I've only used alcohol inks a couple times. I did a video with Saskia and it was my first time ever using alcohol inks, and I made a flower. It was a labor of love and it was fun, but I've never tried it since. And so this you're watching literally is my second attempt ever to create a flower using alcohol inks. But I do love some of the effects that I'm getting here, and I actually love the canned air, the way it's directing the spray with the nozzle, but it kept freezing up. And I finally added a little paper towel and a rubber band on there just so I could hold the can, and then pretty soon it just stopped producing air. I mean, I fought with it for another maybe 5 minutes or so with just very, very little air coming out, and so it was a challenge for me. I hear that if you buy a couple cans and use them intermittently while you're doing this, it also helps instead of just using the same can. And also I was shaking the can up, so not good. So my can of air completely froze at this point and I had to switch to my airbrush. The problem with my airbrush is that little water droplets eventually will come out. So someone suggested this little condenser, and I absolutely love it. So it's easy to connect to your airbrush. You can see that's the condenser right there. It connects at the top and bottom where you see me screwing that on. And honestly, it traps the water droplets inside of there, and it is a perfect fix, you guys. So I will have this in my Amazon shop. I do have it in my Amazon shop if you're interested and you're having the same issue. It was torture when I was doing Saskia's video collaboration. I just kept getting these little droplets and they would spew onto my artwork, and it was really discouraging. So that was the absolute perfect fix, and I'm so excited that I found it. So this is not turning out. I added some colors, I spilled a bottle of ink. It ended up being like this very muddled, sort of very messy thing, and I was not happy with it at all. So scratch that, right? I decided I'm gonna just play around with the inks and see what I can do without trying to make a flower. So immediately I switched back to that, and look at the white just curdled and broke apart. So, I thought I'm gonna switch to Yupo paper. That was the black art craft paper. And so I basically let that little black dot dry, and then I added some butterscotch. And I love the colors of the black and the butterscotch together. So this is one that I will definitely revisit, but I sped it up because you can see over time, it did not turn out either. And I'm not sure why, except for the fact I just didn't have it down. I just didn't have the hang of it down. It was very messy, but I did learn a lot about how the inks react on different substrates. So I'm going to go back to the black paper, and I'm going to ask you guys to please support this channel. If you like this video and want to see more of these videos, please support this channel. There's a few ways you can do it in the description box, especially you know, leaving a tip would be awesome. Someone said my tip jar was not working. I found that it was, so let me know if for some reason it's not working in the comment section. That would be awesome. So I go back to the black paper, and this is just the pearl ink, and immediately, I don't know what it was, I figured out how to shape the flowers with my airbrush. There's a little splatter right there. You guys can fix those real easy by just putting a little bit of alcohol ink over it and just buffing it out there. And yeah, that's how easy it is to fix a big mistake there. But for some reason, I don't know, you know how you reach that point sometimes where you just all of a sudden figure something out? Well, if you look at my hand movements, I'm using longer strokes, and I'm directing the air around to shape the flower. So around the ink on the right side and the left side. And so then I took a cue from Kimberly's class, and I want to add some depth in the center. You want to make it look kind of like an optical illusion, so that the flowers look like they're curving down and inside the flower, because that's what happens in a real flower. So I put that pitch black in there, and isn't it shimmery? It's so pretty. I put that pitch black in there, and then I just let it completely dry. I used my airbrush to make sure it was totally dry. And now what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol right at the edge there and just push the black out. Just a little bit. I don't want it to overtake. But look at that, you guys. It's just literally that simple. I had to take a picture. It's literally that simple. And yeah, that's it. Now, I decided I wanted the flower to have a realistic look, so I added a little bit of that butterscotch. I just wanted to, you know, real flowers have different variations. But so here's where I thought I ruined this flower completely. You know me, I can never just stop. It's really hard for me to stop. Sometimes I just want to keep going and seeing what I can do. And this is what happened. But it's a good slow motion to show you how I shaped the flower, the leaf. See how I'm going on the right and then the left and then the right and the left? That is how I shaped the petals. I'm sorry, not the leaf, the petals of this flower. And yeah, now all of a sudden I have this huge mark in this middle of my flower, and I'm kind of freaking out. But I decided, nope, alcohol ink is really awesome in that you make a mistake and you can kind of take some of it away with just more ink. So I added another section, just so it didn't look so awkward by itself. I added another section of the butterscotch, and then I began to layer white over the top of it, and that is what made that beautiful 3D effect, by layering some of the white over the top. So now I have multiple layers going on there of the pearl, and then the color of the butterscotch, and then the white over the top. Now these little blending tools are by Pixis. I put those in my Amazon shop, but also, you guys, a little cheat is I also put in my Amazon shop a little eyeliner, makeup eyeliner, and they come in like 500 pieces for like $8. So I put those in my Amazon shop too, which actually would work really well. So I'm just start to create a center. One thing you want to do is create the illusion of depth in the center. So to do that, I made the center not in more in like a semicircle than just a completely round, because our eye rarely sees something in nature that's just perfectly round. That's just not how nature is. And the second thing is, my flower has a light spot and a dark spot. So the light spot, I'm assuming, is where the light source is coming from, and the dark spot is where the shadows are. So I also put my little dots, the lightest parts toward the light spot, see? And the darkest part towards the dark spot. And that is how I gave some more depth. The other way I gave depth is by doing this. So after I did the center, and basically, by the way, when I'm doing the center, all I did was dip my little tool into white alcohol ink, and it made all those beautiful colors because all those colors were in the center already. And it's just the pitch black and the butterscotch, but it made those pretty colors. But so I had the extra layering on the right side, which was the dark part of the flower. So I decided I needed to also add some layering on the light side of the flower, the left side. So that's just the regular snow cap, and I just added little tiny feathery, delicate lines, because when you look at a flower, it has those. A lot of times you can see a variation in the flower. Sometimes you see beautiful little white parts and colored parts, and so I just wanted to make sure that I was providing the same little look all the way around the flower, and it also just seeded the center in the center and attributed more depth. Look at how this turned out. I am so pleased with this flower, you guys. It is just it's so shimmering and so pretty. Literally, I was just kind of amazed when I sat back and looked at it. Very, very excited to have done this, and I can't wait to make more. I'm literally itching to make another one. I wanted to remind you, remember what it looked like before I put the center in? Still pretty. I even love it just like this, simplicity, but I do love the final piece. And so if you guys like this and would like to see something like this again, leave a comment in the comment section and let me know if alcohol inks is something you'd like to see on my channel. I'd be happy to do another one. And as always, I cannot wait to make more art videos just for you. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit all notifications so I can make more art videos just for you.